Hello, my name is Ndidi Uwechwe. I am a retired Metropolitan Police Officer, and that means London Police Officer. I came to Nigeria in 2015, a day after Buhari got sworn in, and I came here to sort of keep an eye on my widowed mother and to do farming in my ancestral kingdom in Wani, in Anyoma area of Lower Niger Block. So the Fulani herdsmen destroyed my farm. So I'm a failed farmer, and so that's me. And because of what the Fulani had done to my farm, and being a police officer, I found it shocking. So I began to investigate what's going on. And in so doing, I found out that Nigeria has no constitution, because the 1999 constitution that they operate is a forgery. And I've been an investigator for some years in CID, so I know what a forgery means. It means you don't have whatever that document is supposed to represent. So if, like, you have a motor insurance vehicle certificate and it's a forgery, it means you have no insurance. So because of that, I then found out about Lower Niger Congress, and they were about to, later on that year, because this would be in 2020, let's say February or March, in December of 2020, they declared a constitutional force majeure to terminate that forgery. And I'm a signatory to that constitutional force majeure. In fact, I asked to be a signatory because I wanted to be involved in doing something good, because you have a forgery that you're using. It's a big, big crime. So that's me. Because the constitutional force majeure was declared on the 16th of December 2020, Nigeria became a disputed project. It has national and international consequences. So although you're asking me about elections, one of the consequences it has is that any loans and even some kinds of investments taken from that date, it's going to be lender beware. Now we're talking about elections. All political parties in Nigeria, whether it's, the new party, young party, anti-corruption party, whatever name the party is, they all subscribe to that forgery and fraud. It's a fraud, 419. They all subscribe to that fraud 1999 constitution, and they all say that they will uphold and subscribe and govern by it, their candidates. So I am 100% against elections, because what should happen according to international law, and now that the constitutional force majeure has been declared, it gives we the people the right and the power to say, hey, hang on a minute, we've tolerated that fraud for 23 years, but we draw a line in the sand, and from now on, we're not tolerating it anymore. We have no constitution for Nigeria. We have none. We have no constitution for Nigeria, which actually means that Nigeria is a hoax. But hey, we don't want chaos. We're not anarchists. We want to use international law and our rights to follow the pathway of South Africa, which Frederick de Klerk did. So what that means is you suspend elections. Suspend does not mean you never have them again. It means you suspend it to correct this fraud. So you would suspend the elections and immediately go to transitioning. What is transitioning? Well, South Africa did it. So let's go read what South Africa did. Transitioning means you have a transitional government. And NINAS, the way that NINAS has done it, because they've looked through international law and best practice and all that, is that all those who have been elected to office remain in position. So Osinbajo would still be where he's at. Buhari, the governors, everybody stays where they're at. It's just that during transitional government, you have less powers because you recognize the truth that there's no federating constitution, so no federation. But they stay there because we don't want anarchy. So you'd have a transitional government going on. Some people call it interim government. And at the same time, you have a sovereign conference going on. In South Africa, the sovereign conference is called CODESA. So you have those two things going on. And it is the sovereign conference that would then be arranging for how we get new constitutions for Nigeria. How does that happen? First of all, the indigenous ethnic nations of the Middle Belt and South would conduct referendums to find out, do you want to be in Nigeria, yes or no? That's the first stage. After that, depending on the results of this referendum, we know the way forward. So it has to be a just process. You have your own opinion. You may want Nigeria to remain, somebody else may not. So it's not about what you want or what I want. It's going to be what we, the people, want. So for instance, we had Brexit in Britain. I personally didn't want Brexit to happen, but it's not about me. The majority wanted it to happen, and so it has happened, and we're going to try and make it work. If it doesn't work, we'll have another referendum, and then we go on. You see what I mean? So you look at it through the honest and mature way. So that's what's supposed to happen, transitioning where you have those referendums. So that is why I am totally against any political party, because all of them are doing the same thing, which is they are trying to deceive the population because they subscribe to that fraud. They want to sort of like say, hey, look, we've tolerated for 23 years, let's tolerate it for another 100 years. So they're trying to do that. And that's why I'm against all of that. Because what would happen is that whoever INEC declares winner, and I use those words because since 1999, all the elections have been rigged. So whoever INEC declares the winner in the various positions, senators and president and whatever, that person on a certain day will swear an oath of office to uphold, defend, and govern by that fraud 1999 constitution. In so doing, that person is giving life to a document that should actually have been put in the dustbin. This is why I'm against elections, because I don't want to be on the side of criminals. I've been a police officer. I've always been on the side of the right, and I want to stay that way until I die, if you see what I'm saying. And the problem that Nigeria has can be so easily fixed. It's actually not complicated. I may not know all the steps because it's not my expertise, but those who are experts in the NINAS Secretariat and elsewhere, they know exactly what to do. As I said, South Africa has done it. And, the UN has got instruments to use. In fact, one of the instruments that NINAS is using, and they've put it in their documentation, is UNDRIP, United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And UNDRIP is actually going to be 15 years this year, September the 13th. So this month, NINAS has declared the month of September in celebration of UNDRIP, Self-Determination Awareness Month. So what I've actually said is why I am against elections, full stop, because I don't want to be on the side of those who are going to renew the life of a fraud. I'm not going to do that. And NINAS has already got on the table. They've been working for 22 years. They've gone through different stages. That's why it's taken 22 years, to dot the I's and cross the T's and to follow international law practices. So it's taken so long as well. So, NINAS has got their propositions on the table. All you need to do is to suspend elections and let's sort out the country in the right way, the proper way, get constitutions the proper way. I'm going to have to answer it properly. What happened is we now have to go to what has happened to Nigeria. We had military coups in 1966, and those military coups ended Nigeria. Okay, they ended it. And before those military coups, you had 4 regions, but you had 5 constitutions. Each region had its regional constitution. Then you have one constitution that's a federating constitution. So whoever wrote that 1999 constitution said that the federating units are the states. Where are the 36 federating constitutions? That's a big fraud already. So we're supposed to have 36 regional for the states constitutions, then one extra one federating it. We haven't got. So these are crimes that have been carried on the people of Nigeria. All right. So we now have one constitution, which is a fraud. But remember, I said that in 1966, Nigeria ended. And from that time, Nigeria got governed by military decrees. The 1999 constitution is actually Military Decree 24, just, deceitfully renamed. Now, when a union ends, and I'm going to use a marriage union because everybody understands that. When there's a divorce, the union is at an end, the marriage is at an end. If the couple, let's say 10 years or 5 years later, they want to get back together, let's say it's usually the man, the ex-husband will first ask his ex-wife, will you remarry me? It's when she says yes that they can now plan a new marriage ceremony. Yes? That's exactly the position Nigeria is in. 1966, the union ended. What is now supposed to happen is the indigenous ethnic nations, because they are the constituents, they are to now ask themselves, do we want to be in that union again? Because when the union ended, something called a union dispute was generated. And it's exactly what it means. It's a quarrel about the reality of the union. Is there a union called Nigeria? If some people say yes, there is a union called Nigeria, they then have to show us the constitutions that the people in that union have made. Can you see where I'm going? So it's not about, whether I like somebody or I hate somebody, I like this and I like that. It's to do with, show me the evidence. As a police officer, that's what I used to do. I've got the suspect. Before I charge him or her, I have to get the evidence. Once I've got the evidence, I put it all in a case papers. Do the charge, it goes to court, the court makes a decision. You see what I'm saying? Everything is evidence-based. So we have to, as Africans, raise that IQ, the intelligence level, raise the moral level, raise the social consciousness, and let's do things the right way. Because what I'm seeing is that many Nigerians, those with money, they want to run off Japa to where the people are living in a higher moral level. Well, rather than just all Nigerians, 200 million, running off to England or Canada, let's fix Nigeria and let's get our people to be honest, like in those places. So Nigerians, since 1966, they have not made any constitution. So you asked me about the 2014 confab. I was in England at the time, and I wasn't really interested in Nigeria then. But I do remember that there were some people saying no, that it's supposed to be a sovereign conference. Now, the powers that be said no, that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable. That when they have that conference, they take off the table the fact that people cannot decide who they want to be in a union with. So already that confab doesn't make sense. Because as I said, everything now needs to be done correctly. because enough of deceiving people simply because I'm going to deceive everybody because I've looted the public treasury. So, I've got all these police and I've got all this power and I can bribe the judges and I can bribe everybody and I can be a fantastically corrupt country. And then I can, make the people to be poor, abject poor, and, I think we need to get out of that and begin to think of, as Africans, that Black lives matter. If Black lives matter, you treat Black people with respect. And if you're going to treat them with respect, it means that you do things in an honest way. So the Confab 2014 is a complete no-no. In fact, as I said, because again, it was other people who made the decision for the ethnic nationalities. They hijacked their sovereignty and their self-determination. And we can no longer have that. What now has to happen is we, the people, are the ones with the power. And it is we, the people, who will decide. And to make it very simple and very clear, in any normal country that's not fantastically corrupt, it is we, the people, that they create a group of people who will write the constitution for them. It is not politicians. So the people will write their constitution. That constitution creates the politicians. So the constitution you write, you may want, we want a prime minister. You create the position of prime minister. You may say, we want a constitutional monarchy. You create it with the constitution. Or you may say, we want a president. Can you see what I'm saying? The people create the politicians. When you then have your constitution, the draft constitution that must be ratified by referendums, it's only when it's ratified by referendums that the draft constitution becomes a constitution. When you now have the constitution, and your constitution can say, okay, look, we want a president or we want a prime minister. So let's just say we write a constitution that we say we want a prime minister. Now, those who feel that they have the capacity to be a prime minister, they then vie for that position. And that's what we call elections. And the one that gets voted in becomes the prime minister. And he or she would be the manager of the country. But the owners are the indigenous people, and they hire the politicians. But in Nigeria, the politicians have decided, you know what, we're going to be the Lord. We're the Lords here. We're going to do what we want because, we've got all these soldiers and police and we can kill everybody and we can put everybody in prison and we can do whatever we like. We can steal the money, all the public money. We can, we can call people names and do whatever. This is what they've been doing for all these years. So that has got to stop. That has got to stop. And as time has gone on and Nigeria has gotten worse, you can see all the troubles that are happening. Nobody wants to be in Nigeria. Those who can have left. Those who cannot are praying and doing all sorts in order to be able to go. So what we're saying is let's do the right thing. We know exactly what the problem is. The problem is that 1999 constitution is a fraud. It was not written by we the people. And those who wrote it are those who are benefiting from it. And they are the ones who are telling the mainstream media and everybody to not talk about NINAS, to not report about those who want self-determination, to call those who want their inalienable right to self-determination, to call them all sorts of names, bad names, and to prevent them from doing the right thing by going to elections. Since December 16, 2020, so we've had all this time for Buhari's government has said, yeah, you know what, I'm going to be honest. This constitution is a fraud. Yes, let's go to transitioning. As I said, they all keep their positions. Imagine the honor they would have had to be the ones to change Nigeria from being a fraud to being a real thing, whatever we, the people, want. But that honor, well, I don't know what they want to do, but they could have had the honor of doing that. And Nigeria could, finally be coming out of being a dysfunctional place. So what I would say is to those who are, PVC warriors and Obidients, what I'd like them to do is to please think. I'm a British citizen. It's my parents who have Nigerian, and we're Nigerians. My dad's dead, but my mom, I'm a British citizen. I do not need to be in Nigeria. I don't need to be here. But I am here. When I found out that the Constitution is a forgery, I'm a police officer. So I know I have the knowledge and the skills and the understanding of what a crime is. So I'm saying to them, look, what you guys want is correct. You want change. You want a revolution. I don't like this Nigeria. And if I was a young person, I wouldn't want to be here either. So what they want is correct. But I'm asking the Obidients and the PVC warriors and the Endsars people, can you please think, go to the foundation. What your revolution wants and needs to do is a systems change, not a personnel change. Anybody, even if it's me, even if the person's called Jesus Christ, anybody who is willing to go to elections, to swear an oath of office, to uphold, defend, and govern by a forgery cannot be a good person and cannot have your interest at heart. And that person is deceiving you. So I'm asking them to think and to go with a plan. Let them check out everything that NINAS has done. NINAS has a website, NINAS, N-I-N-A-S, voice.org. Go there and find out what's what, so that the revolution that these young people rightly want gets channeled in the right direction. They should follow a movement. So even if they're in an organization, they may be in a self-determination organization or trade organization, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're in, you stay in whatever organization you're in. NINAS is a movement. It is not an organization, but you key into the plan. Go and read about CODESA and what happened in South Africa, the transitioning that South Africa went through. That is what you want. Do not believe anybody who is telling you that vote for me and that when I get there, I will then do constitutional reviews. You cannot review a forgery. That is, and let me explain that, because they've been deceiving Nigerians again. We used to arrest people for, travelers' checks in those days that were forgery. Counterfeit money. It's just called counterfeit when it's money, but it's a forgery. We used to arrest people with that. There is no amendment you can do to money that is a forgery, counterfeit, to make it real money. There's no amendment. So when these politicians tell you they're going to do constitutional amendments, they are lying to you because they know you don't understand. You cannot amend a forgery and make it real. We can use another example. If you go to the Louvre Museum, there's the La Joconde, the Mona Lisa. It's a very famous painting. Somebody may be able to make a copy of it, so that's a forgery. You cannot make that copy, that forgery, to be the original. You cannot amend it. Again, diamonds. You can have fake diamonds. They're kind of like forgery, isn't it? You can have fake diamonds. You cannot amend that fake diamond to make it into real diamond. So that's the place that we're in. So when anybody, even if you think that person is a saint, is telling you they are going to review a fraud, a forgery, they are lying to you. We, the people, did not write the 1999 Constitution. You need to bin it. Put it in the bin, put it in the dustbin. You don't need to be reviewing it and amending it. It does not make any logical sense. In fact, in England, when there's something that is the kind of fraud is a forgery, you stamp on it, null and void. So those passports of those we had arrested, who have a passport that's a forgery. Okay, if I was the officer in the case, the OIC, and if the case goes to Crown Court and all, I wait. It's my exhibit. It's under me. The police officer, it's under me. then, you know, we have a court case and you have a property store. I wait for about a year in case there's an appeal. There's never an appeal, but anyway, I wait for about a year. Then I ask those who manage the property store to destroy it. So that passport, which is a forgery, gets destroyed. It is not reviewed, amended to make it into a valid, authentic passport. It's not possible. So please, 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 young people, do not allow these politicians to deceive you. Do not allow them to deceive you. We need to, even now, even tomorrow, you know, halt, suspend elections 2023. It is systems change that you guys want, and you can get it. And you will get it through following the NINAS plan of transitioning, which means there's a transitional government plus a sovereign conference. It has to have that word sovereign. The National Conference of 2014 did not have sovereign because the politicians hijacked your sovereignty. You have to have a sovereign conference because you are the owners of the land, not the politicians. So you have to do more research on that if you want, but that is it. You suspend those elections, you go to transitioning, and that's when you have those referendums that will decide on the kind of change that you want. And the union dispute will now be finally resolved. Thank you.